These are the 5 reasons how the Boston Celtics beat the Dallas Mavericks in Game 1. First, the return of Kristaps Porzingis. In only 20 minutes of action, Porzingis made a statement, finishing the night with 20 points, 6 rebounds and 3 blocks, which all came in the first quarter. Porzingis is not your usual 7-footer, as here with a mismatch in the post, he elects not to back him down, but to instead just shoot over the top, for what must feel like an uncontested jump shot. But here, even when the Mavericks get matched up, he beats Dereck Lively off the dribble like a point guard and then throws it down like a big man. But this is where KP makes the opposing defense really scratch their heads, as here in transition, he pulls a 30-footer and cashes it in. The Mavericks did not have a matchup for Porzingis all night long, and here Dallas concede a switch again, leaving Green on an island with KP. And with a nice up fake, he rises up and knocks down another. For the rest of this series, the Mavericks cannot afford to concede these switches, as instead let Derek White or Drew Holiday beat you off the dribble. The second reason why the Celtics won Game 1 is because of their elite 3-point shooting. In the current era of NBA basketball, games are often decided by one statistic, and that's the 3-point shooting. The Celtics put up a league-leading 42 3-point attempts per game, and when they're making them, they're virtually unbeatable. However, attempting so many threes also has its drawbacks. And we actually saw this in the game where the Mavericks were able to cut it down to 8 points because the Celtics were missing their shots. However, when you look at the final stat sheet for Boston, they attempted their 42 3-point attempts and connected on 16 of them. But for Dallas, their 27 3-point attempts only converted to 7 made threes. Boston had production from basically everywhere, as Sam Hauser off the bench came in and made both of his 3-point attempts and played solid defense on Luka Doncic, which we'll get into in a second. Jayson Tatum was the most effective 3-point shooter for Boston, even though he finished the night shooting 37% from the field, as he was still able to make 3 out of his 7 shots from deep. Yes, the Mavericks had a historically tough run to make it to the finals, but the Boston Celtics are a different beast. In the 3 series the Mavericks played in the West playoffs, there was always a non-shooter on the floor, from Zubats in the first round to Josh Giddey in the Thunder series and Rudy Gobert in the conference finals. Now with Boston having 5 shooters on the floor at all times, the Mavs' usual defensive tactics are not always going to work. And Game 1 was a prime example for the Dallas Mavericks of how you cannot guard the Boston Celtics like you guarded the Minnesota Timberwolves. The third reason why the Boston Celtics won Game 1 was because of Jaylen Brown's heroics. On both sides of the ball, he was special. First, offensively, he was great, finishing with a team-high 22 points, while he made Luka Doncic work defensively. Here, he does just that, putting Luka in jail and then floating a shot over the outstretched hands of Daniel Gafford. Finally, a team is actually hunting Luka on defense. Even when he's healthy, he's not a good defender, but now with the injuries, he's just become even worse, and Jaylen Brown took advantage. Here, Luka is matched up with Sam Hauser, and Hauser makes the smart play to come set a pick for Jaylen Brown, and instead of fighting back over, Derrick Jones Jr. concedes the switch, leading to this.
Brown goes inside! Oh, what a slam from Jaylen Brown!
Jaylen Brown was not taking prisoners, as he didn't just put Gafford on a poster, but this was more like a mural. However, it's not just inside where Brown can hurt you, but it's from deep too. As here the Mavericks double Tatum, but with some great ball movement, Boston find JB wide open in the corner for 3. But then with Maxi Kleber backing off of Jaylen Brown, Sam Hauser makes a smart play to come set a screen, giving Brown enough space to drill another 3-pointer. But it was on the defensive side of the floor where Jaylen Brown really hurt the Dallas Mavericks, as here he guards Doncic 94 feet and picks his pocket perfectly for some room service. On the night, he picked up 3 blocks and 3 steals, as here he perfectly times this alley-oop pass from Doncic and breaks it up, but the ball actually comes back out to the Mavericks, and with some good ball movement, they're ready to attack again, finding Derrick Jones Jr., who is yet again denied by Jaylen Brown. Getting blocked twice on the same possession by the same guy is absolutely embarrassing. Here, Kyrie rejects the screen to attack the lane, as he can see that Jaylen Brown is going to have to make a tough decision. Brown has 2 options, either stay home on Gafford and let Kyrie score a layup, or go out to contest Kyrie and leave Gafford open for an alley-oop pass. However, due to some elite ball pressure by Drew Holiday, he funnels Kyrie right into Jaylen Brown as he picks up his 3rd block in only a minute and a half of play. On the back of Jaylen Brown's defense, Boston embarked on a 13-0 run to end the 3rd quarter, which ended up being the nail in the coffin. The 4th reason why Dallas lost Game 1 was because of Boston's elite defense. Boston kept the Mavericks to 41% shooting as a team, and this is how they did it. The defensive ability of Drew Holiday simply simply does not get talked about enough. Now, yes, when you look at his average of 1.3 steals per game, it doesn't jump off the page, but it's what doesn't get tracked in the stat sheet where his impact is felt the most. You can't track the amount of pressure he puts on Kyrie Irving here to not make him realize that Gafford is open. And here, even though Kyrie loses Drew, he's still looking for him, as he's worried about Drew picking off a pass, so instead he tries to finish over Al Horford and he gets denied. However, unlike his time with the Milwaukee Bucks, he isn't carrying the defense, as Al Horford, Derek White, Jayson Tatum, and of course Jaylen Brown can all impact the game defensively as well. As here, Horford gets matched up on Luka, and just when Luka thinks he's created enough separation on a step back, Al Horford still gets a piece of it. Then Derek White shows off his elite defensive instincts, as here he leaves Derek Lively, who's rolling to the rim all alone, to get a back tap on Doncic. Luka had no idea Derek White was coming, and without any communication from his teammates to let him know that Derek White is there, it's another Mavericks turnover and 2 more points for Derek White after this tough finish over Derek Jones Jr. The Celtics have been a top 3 defense all season long, holding teams to 111 points per game, but in the playoffs those numbers have improved to 108 points per game. With great defensive players all over the floor and a solid defensive scheme, the Celtics were dominant on that side of the ball in Game 1. The fifth and final reason why Boston is up 1-0 is because of their NBA Finals experience. Now yes, when the Celtics were in the finals last time, it wasn't a good experience, but you could just tell that from the jump this game meant a lot more to Boston than it did to Dallas, as the Celtics wanted to forge a new path. The Boston Garden was rocking, and even though Luka played in the EuroLeague, which is well known for its wild crowds, even he looked a little shaken up. All game long, the Celtics fed off the crowd's energy as they continued to make the right play all night long. Now let's address something really quick. The media is definitely going to have a field day with Jayson Tatum's performance, as he was only able to put up 16 points while he turned the ball over 6 times. But unlike some superstars in this league, even when he's not shooting the ball well, he can still have an impact on a game, as he pulled down 11 rebounds while he also played hard defense all night long, even picking up 1 block on the night. When I predicted this series, I had the Celtics winning in 6 games, and so far they've done nothing to sway my confidence, as my prediction's looking pretty good right now. But that's just me. Who do you have winning the NBA Finals and in how many games? Let me know in the comments below.